the Court Cousins vortex. Get lost in the Orlando Magic with us. Whey! Holy shit, I'm actually getting really dizzy. This is tripping me out. I'm gonna vomit. I drank too much last night.
Peach is bigger, but I'm huge.
Welcome everybody to Court Cousins, episode 63. My name is Kyle. I'm joined as always by my dashing, my daring, my intelligent cousin, Jason the Peach. Peach, it is a stocked Orlando edition of the show. What do we got going on today, sir?
We're going to fill up your cup with all kinds of goodness today as we look back on our recent trip to Orlando. We've got a vlog. Then later in the show, we've got a special dozen with the second cousins where we talk to people who came out. We're going to talk about that throughout the course of the show. We've also got our psychological check-in as always and social media roundup where we talk about what's going on with the Magic and in the NBA. And yeah, what more do you need? That's a full show. This cup is overflowing.
It runneth over, baby. And if you're watching, you're probably all like already saying to yourself, is that Jason or is he a ventriloquist dummy? Because we're just having internet issues, so the audio isn't quite lining up with the video. Audio people, you don't even know. You don't notice at all. I probably didn't even need to say anything, and you would have been none the wiser. But that's what's happening.
A bit of a storm rolling through the Dallas area.
Yeah.
And we reset. We did all the things we could possibly do.
Yep.
For now,
it still sounds good. You still look handsome as hell, but your words are delayed, and that's okay. I want to send out these words, these shout outs to all of the Patreon supporters, especially our all-stars and second cousins, Magic Player History, Bolby the Dawn, Paolo and Franz's Warmth, Dylan Holden, Drumble D, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria and Damien, and Connor.
Isn't there more shout outs?
Well, I thought you were going to do the shout out thing.
I was going to do it after you did all the shout outs.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to say, especially right now at tax season, Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Like, seriously, man, I'm looking at all the numbers of the amount of money that myself and Peach put into this, and just with the expenses, no frills on top, not including any of the extra stuff that we like to do, it's like $2,000 to run this thing. So without you, we'd be taking a real hit. So thank you very, very much, Patreon supporters. Tax season really makes you appreciate those folks that, if you can, reach in and $5 a month, that's all. Just helps support, helps keep this going. And this magic propaganda will continue to spread throughout the galaxy.
We're still doing, we got videos of us doing zany, wacky cuts and all that shit, because that's fun.
I posted one recently. Yep. So, like, if you go on there are outtakes that are, like, the big thing that sometimes I post stuff a little bit early, but really it's just support. Once in a while we'll get on there and do something, ask for input, which is cool, and we get some good ideas. But then the outtakes, those are really what I enjoy most. And we had some ones earlier in the conversation today. So if you want to see what Peach and I were talking about that isn't making it right now to your earlobes or your eyeballs, then go over to the Patreon and check it out. And an additional shout out today just to everyone who came out to Court Cousins Night. Or the second, as we're calling it now, the family reunion, the second annual family reunion of all the cousins. Big shout out to Raph, Megan, Bryce, Dan and the fam, Eric and his buddy, whose name I forgot, sorry homie, Amir, Rick, or Jay, or whatever you're going by, Rick, and your lovely daughter. Thanks for coming out, homie. Skinny, Erica, and of course, our guy, Jay. Other folks that we just saw us and said, "Oh, Court Cousins," and gave us a shout out. Shout out to all of you, for in particular JT, who I had a quick chat with, Brian, who I saw. Peace, you weren't with me. That was our bartender homie who hooked us up with drinks last year. He's a freaking legend. Will always be a legend on Court Cousins in this show. He went to the game. I saw him. Our boy Yachty, we linked up with Al from Orlando Magic HQ, as well as Brett. So just anyone who we came in contact with and showed us some love or just hung out, shout out to you all.
Yes, I would like to give a special large shout out to
Okay.
Erica and Jay. Jay has kind of joined us as a cousin from another mother, if you
Yes.
will. He was gracious enough to pick us up from the airport. He and Erica also got me this sweet Franz Wagner.
Oof.
Get the flag out.
Yeah.
This thing is German. We've decided to call Guinness World Book. It's the first time that Puerto Ricans have ever gifted a German basketball jersey to a Vermont person. So that happened. Doesn't happen all the time. And yeah, it's good to get to meet him a little bit, learn a little bit about his culture as well. It took us out for Puerto Rican food, which was stellar.
Yeah.
So really good to meet up with him, and he's been a great addition to the Court Cousins family. So special shout out to them for joining us along. And I gotta say, well, I may have missed Brian, the bartender homie, at least I got some FaceTime with Paolo Banchero's mom in the elevator.
Whoa. I mean, what was it? It was all above ground though, right?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Always. In fact, somebody kind of pointed her out, said hello, and she goes, "Hey, I don't play the games." She's not looking to be a celebrity. She just wanted to go watch her son play. And she's like, "Hey, I'm just going the same way as you people. Just
Let's
yeah."
do it
Nobody
together.
bugged her. It was like,
Oh, well, see, that's why Paulo's so humble, because his mom is so damn humble, and she's freaking awesome. I also forgot to shout out the mailman. You know, Jay and
Ooh, come
Erica's
on.
extended family. Erica's mom and the mailman came through. Just got to
She
give them a
changed
tip
her
of the hat.
handle. She is now Mrs. Mailman. It's a big deal. Well done.
So we got plenty of recap stuff from the trip coming up. We have a video, a vlog. We're gonna do a special dozen with the second cousin, as Peach mentioned. So this show is gonna be littered with it. But before any of that, Peach, I haven't really talked to you since we were down there for the second annual family reunion of the cousins. How are you doing, sir, for the psychological check-in?
Well, I've been pretty busy. It's been a busy 3 weekends in a row. Honestly, I had some friends in town from Austin for Pinball Fest before we went to Orlando. Of course, then we were in Orlando, and then this past weekend I was in Fort Worth working Disney on Ice. It's been a whirlwind, man. Like, I'm really glad to be able to get to do all that stuff and see all the people that I see. But I gotta say, I came into work this morning, and today was one of those days where it was like, this picture of Cole Anthony. This is from a video someone shot of him during the national anthem, where he just kind of gave him the stare down. So kind of saying, "Fuck your fourth wall. I'm looking at you. I'm Cole Anthony right now." And like that, I had this look on my face a lot at work today. Like, really, we're doing this? This happened?
You kidding me?
Is this okay? Yeah, like every little thing usually that comes up at work today, except for handicap accessible door buttons, came up. That's my arch nemesis. Today they didn't raise their ugly head. But everything else came to the forefront. You don't understand. No knock on the handicap. I know you need your button, but those things are finicky and they break all the time. But I didn't have to deal with that today, so one good thing. But a lot of this phase today, where I'm kind of looking around like, oh my God, what is happening? Why do I have to tell people these things? Common knowledge isn't always so common, but could have been worse in the long run, and that's why I'm sure, much like Cole did after staring down the camera, I'll give you a smile. We're good to go.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. We're doing some podcasts. We're looking back at what was a great time, no matter what words we decide to give this or videos or pictures that you see on the course of the show. It's really hard to accurately describe how I feel about the time down there in Orlando. It's always good to reconnect with those people. Nadra came with us this time, so we had more people down there. I think it was cool for her to kind of get a little behind the scenes on, oh, this is what goes on down here. Like, people are asking her about her cat because we talk about it on the show. Like, yeah, this is what we do, right? Like, it's nice to have some other people like that, actually get to see some of this other stuff. So shame on you if you missed it, but hey, there's always next year. Come be a part. It's a good time, and I'm feeling good. How are you doing for the psychological check-in?
I definitely want to reiterate everything that you said about Court Cousins, the second annual family gathering, the gathering of the cousins. Just fantastic. I mean, Peach, we're two kids from the Northeast, right? We have this deep familial love for the Orlando Magic because it connected us, and we went to games, you from the inaugural season, me from not too long after that. And it's just been a part of our family. But we're in the Northeast. We're always at away games our whole lives. We've always been the weird kid who's wearing Orlando Magic gear when everyone else is wearing Boston or New York stuff. And now we've got a legit family down in Orlando. We have a crew of people I consider close friends now, relationships we're maintaining for years now. It's been years. And man, that is just, it's so fulfilling to make these connections. And I definitely started this podcast to deepen my relationship with you, but this was just an unforeseen benefit that's come with it, is deepening relationships with people in and around the Orlando area, other Magic fans, to truly make it a family reunion. So, that's the first thing. Before I get a little bit real here, my psychological check-in, my Cole Anthony, he's looking down at the ground. I've been looking down a lot, man. I've been feeling kind of down. It's crazy how after such a high of the second annual gathering of the cousins family reunion, that's such a high. Sometimes my body and my mind want to self-sabotage. I don't know if any of you out there can resonate with this. After you've had a high, your mind will try to do things to put you in a valley of self-sabotage. That's something I've done a little bit in the past. So I kind of came back maybe just feeling a little bit down and a little bit for no reason, not really sure why. Work has been tough, man. It's just tough being a teacher, dealing with holding space for kids to process their shit. My best friend, a guy I've known since I was 4, his mother just passed away. Very young, very tragically. Wendy Ryan. This is someone who I've known since I was 4 years old, who was like a second mom to me, whose house I was at a lot growing up. And it's been tough to process all that. And it's been a lot of grieving with him and his family and her, Wendy's husband, Marty. And so that's been really tough. My buddy is going through a life transition, and I'm trying to support him as best as I can. But it's tough to constantly try to be strong. And so I'm looking down. But if you look at, what's Cole Anthony doing right there? He's looking down at his feet because he's getting set for a shot. What's he going to do next, Peace? He's going to look up. All right. And I've been looking up. I tell you, I went over to my mom and dad's yesterday, and I just wept like I was a 3-year-old again in my dad's arms. And it felt good. Just 2 grown men just hugging and crying together, and with my mom there, and just telling them how much I love and appreciate them. And that honestly was super cathartic. It was really helpful to share how I was feeling and cry, like cry, shaking my freaking body crying. So I appreciated that. And it's so amazing, the spiritual nature of crying, how I can just, and us men, we don't get to do that shit, right? That's like something I just recently discovered, that, oh, you can cry and like the emotion moves through you. Fuck, I didn't even know that. So it's fantastic. And I'm also feeling really grateful for this psychological check-in, because sometimes I feel like I'm taking up space in the beginning of the show, and I'm like, shit, I need to get into Orlando Magic stuff, But JT, who came up to me at the game, talked to me specifically about the Court Cousins, about the psychological check-in, and like just talking about personal stuff. And hey, man, I know you go through it sometimes. Keep your head up. You're doing great. Like, he was keying in on any part of the show. He wanted to talk about the psychological check-in. Bryce, we were talking about the psychological check-in. So, you know what? Let me not grace over this. Let me give it the time that I just did. And I'm grateful for everyone for listening. I'm grateful for you, Peach, for listening. And I just want to continue to encourage folks out there to do your own psychological check-in. Check in with your loved ones. Be real. Share some genuine emotion. I think it'll probably surprise you how people might react. So Thanks, Peach. That's
Yeah,
all
man.
I have,
I mean, if people don't want to hear this part, they just skip ahead to the magic part. That's fine. For me, my favorite part of the show is the beginning and the end. So, and we don't usually clip those up or anything like that. Make
No.
shorts out of them. It's just that's it. So, like, hey, if you're here for the magic content, it's coming.
Yeah.
If you want the whole caboodle, you really want to get to know us. You want to join the family.
Yeah.
You got to get to know who we are as people. And so far, I feel like I've gotten positive feedback on them. I like it. It's a good time, man. It's all part of this thing. So,
and it's important. So
I like it.
So Peach, both you and I talked about in our psychological check-ins how awesome the second annual family reunion Court Cousins night was. So let's pull back the curtain. Let's give you all second cousins, if you weren't there, a little view into our time in City Beautiful.
Court Cousins vortex. Get lost in the Orlando magic with us. Whey. Holy shit, I'm actually getting really dizzy. This is tripping me out. I'm gonna vomit. I drank too much last night.
I'm huge.
It's Kyle everywhere you see.
Peach, it's Pretzels by Goga.
It's good branding, big man. Love it.
The Georgian Giant is expanding into pretzels.
He's getting into pretzels. He ties defenders in knots, and now he ties your dough in knots.
I'll hook ya.
We've arrived at Captain's Cove for a round of golf.
It's a psychological check-in, so it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both.
That was the first time you saw it. Did you remember all those things?
I remembered all those things. There was some great footage there. There was, I think, we had some of the people who were there submitted footage. Some's yours, some's mine. Good mix of stuff there. Impressive. You see, I've got a lot of my net that we cut down.
Yes.
Meg gave me a lot of leftover pieces, so I kind of made a necklace there. You got your piece there. I got my piece here that I cut off in the video where the ladder, it's underneath the net. This is Rick's piece. I'll be sending this to him soon. Along with another goodie. He's going to be getting one of these classic fleece blankets, and I've got another one of these to give away.
Ooh.
So right now, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not sure exactly how we should give it away. It's going to be a comment-based thing.
Let's do a comment. Yeah.
You gotta.
What keeps you warm at night? What idea when you're feeling down? What really warms you up? Maybe.
Okay, and that'll keep you warm until your classic fleece arrives.
Yeah. Deep moment. We're gonna go into the social media.
Let's
roundup.
go. Let's do it. Do it.
And it's a little old news, but Peach and I haven't talked about it. And with all of the penis envy that we had on this. Okay, here it comes. We're putting the black dick on the screen. I know Orlando Magic media. You tried to you put it up and you were too cowardly. You took it down, but it's up for all the world to see. You can't put this cat back in the bag.
Woo! Look, this is we could have had these guys on our team. This could have just been two guys standing next to each other in the huddle, right? But nah, we don't want to do that. But at least we got this joyous moment with these two lads. They're smiling, they're smirking. Even before they went to do it, he's like, "Oh no, you got to stand on this side." You know, like, God bless them. They're great. This is the kind of kid that's going to do well with a name like Dick, right? Because he has a sense of humor about it. He just meets it head on and he moves on with his day. Yeah. So like when you're a boy named Stu, right? You either get picked on and you're in your week or you're tough as shit. Yeah. And I think Dick has done well with what he's got. And this is super funny. I still wish he was on our team, not gonna lie. Still want Dick.
Oh my God. Whenever I need just a laugh, I go back and watch our shorts when like the draft and we were talking about Grady Dick, and you've got some real gems of a moment, man. The Dickometer. Like we could have had a Dickometer on this show.
I mean, it was around for a while, but
yeah,
it came and went.
As they do. See, this could have been every day.
All right, maybe it's better that we don't have it.
Yeah, I think it's better. All right. Okay, next, the March Madness is mad, and now it's April, so it's coming to a close. But this post was just too funny. This is from, let's see here. I can't see it. Oh, I got too many things on the screen.
From Kicks, they're reposting Trent.
Yeah, that's who I couldn't see. Trent. A side-by-side of Kentucky and Oakland. March Madness is great because Kentucky has a few future NBA players on their team, and they're getting cooked by a future enterprise district manager. I'm sorry, I don't know this gentleman's name. Didn't he hit like 7 or 8 threes or something crazy?
10 of 20.
10 of 20. So he was putting them up. He had the green light, and he was knocking them down 50% from beyond the arc. And Oakland beats Kentucky, right? That's crazy.
I mean, this is the headline there says, or the tagline says it all. This is what makes March Madness so beautiful, right? It's like this is why, and I've said it before on this program, I prefer college basketball to the NBA because in the NBA, you know what teams are good. The referees kind of call it in the favor of certain players or teams, and it's sort of like, it feels a little cooked, but there's nothing cooked about this cat just getting hot, scoring a bunch, and then like 10 years from now, we're going to have to be like, oh, you're that guy? And look, the Enterprise District Manager program is nothing to sneeze at.
No,
that's a
nice
good
career.
Money.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to remind people here. Yeah. Like someday he's going to rent maybe this guy a car. Right. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be like, hey man, I played you in the NCAA tournament. That guy's going to be like, oh, cool man. Like just on his way to, some sort of $1 million lavish ball of some sort. But that's what does make it great, right? It's people in your neighborhood, in your college. People are playing for a college, then that's a community, and it feels a little more involved than a guy from this country or that state playing across the country for this team in this city. Like you don't always get that. With the Magic, we're lucky. We do have some guys that love to be in the community and give back, and they stay here for a while. Not just guys on the current team, but guys like T. Ross that stick around, and Martin Gortat, and so there's a little bit of that community here that you don't necessarily have in other NBA cities. But that's why I feel like it's just a better game. You never know what's going on. Look, everybody picks a bracket, right? Mm-hmm. And after day one, no one has a perfect bracket left. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
No, there is just the unknown of it all with so many teams. You can't possibly. There's just not enough games to have seen them all play against each other or even comparable opponents. So it is just madness, as stated. You're following this much closer than I have. I've watched only maybe a handful of games or so. What have been some of the biggest upsets? What have been some of the bigger ones? I mean, this one was massive, right? Oakland over Kentucky. Is there anything?
This one was
Didn't
big.
Like Duquesne win like a crazy one?
Duquesne won an 11 versus 6.
Oh, that's not that big a deal.
6, but that's not crazy. But
yeah.
Grand Canyon University won a first round matchup, and let's be honest, we all figured they were just an online school. Didn't even know they had a campus. Good for them. But what a hell of a program they're building there. There wasn't the massive upsets or like that really, NC State's an 11 seed, but they play
Yeah.
in the ACC and they won the ACC tournament. So we don't think of them as an underdog, but let's be honest, they're in the Final Four as an 11 seed. It's pretty rare, but I think, yeah, it's just not happening as much. I don't think you're going to see it as much because right now they've ruined the college game in a way by letting people switch teams every year.
Oh,
And
the portal.
the NIL is, I mean, look at, there was a lot of football heavy schools in this. Alabama's in the Final Four. They played Clemson for a shot at the Final Four. Like, those are football schools. Like, but now they've got that money.
Yeah.
They're bringing kids in. It's going to kind of change some of those dynamics a bit. I don't know if I love it yet. Hopefully it'll balance itself out somewhere down the road, but right now I'm not super in love with it, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, fair enough. Keep an eye on it. And especially how it like impacts the pipeline of players to the NBA is what I'm curious about as more of an NBA fan, a guy who doesn't follow the NCAA. Like, will this encourage, the NCAA has been for most of the NBA's history, that is the farm system for the NBA. But now with the G League getting built out and more viable international leagues, I'm curious to see what direction, what kind of rises to the top, or maybe it's going to continue to be this amalgamation of all different types of stuff. I mean, last year you had the Thompson twins coming from the kind of unknown, I can't even think of the damn league's name anymore. They were coming out of that. There were guys coming out of the G League last year, guys coming out of college, guys coming out of international. So it'll be interesting.
Overtime elite.
Thank you. Yep. So I'll be interesting to see what actually rises, and do we have one of those NCAA among them establishing themselves as the premier system or way for athletes to matriculate into the NBA. Okay.
It should always just be college, but
yeah, I mean that would be nice, but as you said, the game is up in the air. All right, let's talk about some Orlando Magic, shall we, Peach?
Yeah, we know what's not up in the air, Mr. Paolo Banchero.
Nah.
Sported here. He's on my cup. I mean, this guy's nice, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Every once in a while, I think people forget how nice he could be because people always taking things at face value and they're not doing that long-term thinking ahead thing. Let's go ahead and look at this post from Hoops Nation, who's giving us LeBron stats through 140 career games.
Ooh.
Pretty solid, right? Nothing to sneeze at. Big time. 66-74 record. Let's go ahead. Take a look at Paolo's stats through those first 140 career games. Pretty similar in the points, assists, and rebounds department, and a little better in the record department. So, hey, this is the kind of guy I'd like to see him compared to. I don't care what your thoughts are on LeBron versus Jordan, best of all time, blah, blah. LeBron's a good basketball player. He's probably one of the best. He's in the conversation, at least. And now this guy right here, 5, he's in this conversation as well when you look at the foundation this guy is building. Did he go to the finals in his first 3 years? No. Does he need to? No. But look at that. Look at that base that's getting down there. He's changing the narrative, right? You're seeing the Orlando Magic in a lot of places you did not see them before, and it's because of 5. And it will remain that way because of the other guys around him as well. So he may be the face. This is a full team effort here. And let's just take a minute to appreciate Paolo. And I tell you what, I know you are a big fan of making us look like the Boston Celtics. You love it. You're like, I compare us to the Boston Celtics, the Boston Celtics. All right, well, here you go. Playmaker Hoops has done it for you.
Yeah.
They've shown you some stats here, and I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm new with numbers. I'm not going to say I'm great with them. Looks like the Magic numbers are a little better here. Just saying. They look a little better.
Yeah, no.
They may not have the success in the record department these guys have yet, and they haven't been to a finals yet either, but they haven't lost one yet either. So ceiling's higher, I say.
I got another Paolo stat for you before I comment on this Celtic comparison, which I do love to do and I think is very apt. I saw this one from the Magic.
I have opened the door here for you. You should be flying through this.
Yeah,
thing.
I know, and I'm stepping back. Are you surprised? But I saw this from the Magic report right as we were show prepping. Since 1965, only 8 players have 3,000 points, 900 rebounds, and 600 assists in the first 2 years of their career. Those players, Peach, a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Not sure if you ever heard of him. Sidney Wicks,
Solid.
who I actually haven't heard of. I don't know. You know Sidney Wicks? That's probably disrespectful and blasphemous and old time.
Is that a female?
No, Sydney Wicks. Some OG is going to get on here and be like, you don't know Sydney, man, the Sydney the Swan. I don't know. We'll keep it moving to another bird, Larry Bird. He was pretty good. Larry Johnson, Big Mama. That was it, Big Mama, right, in Charlotte?
Grandmama.
Grant Hill, who I know Magic fans is a little bit of a sore spot, but his early years were just unbelievable.
He was healthy. Great. Fantastic.
Yeah. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and a guy named Paolo Banchero. So that's pretty
all right.
damn
Well,
good
with
company.
the exception of the Swan, those are all household names.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And so back to this comparison, which I've made a whole bunch of times. Some Celtics fans have gotten on me before about it. Well, it's not apples to apples. Yeah, not really. The team situations were slightly different. In Jalen and Jason Tatum's early years, they did try to assemble a super team in Boston, which completely fell flat on its face. But there was also a lot of murmurings that was partly there was some spite between the older and younger generation. And I might argue that Paolo would have handled that situation even better than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and may have exceeded and excelled in that situation. I like this idea that, hey, these are two big wing players that can do a little bit of everything. Handle the ball, pass, score, play make, and they drive what is the Celtics, which many people say is one of the best teams in basketball. I'll say you got to beat the Denver Nuggets before you're going to get the title of the best team in basketball, but they're certainly the favorite in the East by far and away. They have the best record this year. They've been killing teams. So, hey, if they can build out around those two foundational guys, Weltman must be just licking his chops back there playing 3D chess to try to get, the right pieces around these two pillars in Paolo and Franz and hopefully follow a similar trajectory to the Celtics. Because whatever you have, I know, Peace, you all say, oh, they haven't won shit. They can't win shit. Well, guess what? They've been going to the Eastern Conference Finals year after year these days. They've been getting deep into the playoffs. And I don't know about you, second cousins out there, but I would take that any day for the Magic and, hopefully get a chip. But I want some winning. It'd be nice to have that perennial winning top of the Eastern Conference vibe that the Celtics are going for.
It would be nice to get some winning, but if people are going to give me shit because the Bills apparently weren't good because they never won a Super Bowl despite getting there 4 times, then I have to use the same logic to trash this current run of Celtics. Win something, then we'll talk.
All right.
I don't necessarily agree with that take, but I'm just saying what the people are telling me. I'm just going by the rules set forth by the world. But I need Paolo Banchero to continue to excel and be better than these guys. I need him to be so into Excel that he totally rejects Microsoft Sheets and just says Google Sheets.
Yeah.
He rejects Google Sheets and he says I'm all Microsoft Excel.
Right.
Don't bring that shit in here. So let's move on.
No, I don't want to move on, Pish. I have one more thing to say.
He wants to say more.
I want to say a little bit more because the only thing I am concerned about, if you would have asked me at the beginning of this year, it was, hey, for sure, max extension Franz, max extension Paolo. Franz is shooting, we all know this, 28% from 3 this year. 28% from 3. All of his other numbers, his field goal percentage is slightly down as a result from last year, from 48.5 to 47.9. And his effective field goal percentage as a result is down this year as well. His free throws have stayed about the same, but I don't know, Peach. Do you still think with Franz's play, he's kind of a max guy, still 100% pillar? What do you make of this shooting woes? Is it something serious? The conversation we were having after the second annual family reunion, Court Cousins night, with Yachty and Al, we're just talking about how much basketball this guy has played, and how are Franz's legs not jelly by now? He's been playing basketball for 3 straight years. So I guess I say that to say I think he's still a max guy that you develop around, but I would be lying to say if the precipitous drop off in his 3-point percentage and his accuracy isn't a little bit alarming to me this year.
Are your shoelaces tied together?
Are they tied?
Because you're tripping. This guy is a max. You bring him in, you sign him, you be quiet. Don't worry about how much basketball he's played. He's German engineered last time I checked. Oh, yep, he is. He's still a young gun. He's going to play less basketball, I think, as time goes on, right? He'll be better about it. I feel like, honestly, that 3-point shot percentage going down is the red flag for me. But he's so good at getting to the bucket. And a lot of guys that are looking to get to the bucket are hesitant to shoot the three. I know a lot of people like that. I'm speaking for myself from experience. I like to get to the bucket. That's where I like to go. Maybe I get the hoop and the harm.
Yep.
I'm creative when I get inside. If I'm open for a three, I don't really want to shoot it. It's not a strength of my game. Like once you're so good at doing this other thing, you tend to not think so much about that other thing. So maybe at some point he'll start to bring those a little closer together. But honestly, I'd rather see him moving towards the bucket with the ball than trying to hit a three. So I'm cool with it. He's still a max player when you really get down to it, when you look at the numbers. I'm not sure exactly how high ceiling is for those contracts or whatever. If you're worried about numbers,
25% of the salary cap.
I just don't see how you do not get. How would you justify not keeping this man on your team at all costs? You going to replace him with somebody better?
No.
Then
no.
I mean, Orlando has been looking for people to be in this town that are legit for a long time. I'm going to start bringing up Evan Fournier. I'm going to bring up Vucevic. I'm going to bring up all these pretenders, Aaron Gordon, and this bullshit that came through this town. If you think that Franz Wagner is not a guy we should sign, you're full of shit, and take your magic shit off and go away. Because you finally got some players here that are good. Don't question it. Just sign them up and keep them around for a while. They're winners. They're good people. Come on.
That's
He
fair.
brought a gold medal to Germany. He can bring the gold ball to Orlando. Let's go. That's a short. Cut it out.
Except your mouth doesn't match the words. But other than that, it was great, Peach. Well done.
Fix it in post.
Fix it in post, he says. Yeah, well, I'm just asking the question because it's been discussed, man. I got to bring it up. But I also think Franz doesn't get enough love on the defensive side of the ball. The young man can move his feet.
Correct.
All right.
You're correct.
Another guy that is a pillar of the franchise, I think he has established himself as a core player, is Jalen Suggs. And this little ditty here from Magic Fan 89 is just priceless. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, of course, but it's a comparison here to our beloved Jalen Suggs and Damian Lillard. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie, says Magic Fan 89. His best three-point shooting season so far this year is Damian Lillard by percentage. He's shooting 40.1% at the time of this graphic. And, Jalen Suggs in just his third year is shooting 40.1% from beyond the arc. I'm not asking any questions. I'm not even thinking about their attempts. Jalen Suggs is better than Damian Lillard.
I mean, all right.
It's
a Magic podcast, so that's fine.
No,
it's Suggs time now, bitch.
It is Suggs time. Move over. Dame is, attempting 8 3-point attempts per game. Jalen Suggs 5.2. Maybe Jalen will get up there, maybe 6 or so next year. But again, the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Suggs has just been a revelation. He continues to be so as the point of attack. He continues to get lauded by his teammates and his coach about how important he is to set the tone. I mean, the stats go on and on for the defense. I'm going to look some up, Peach. You are, your B team is the Bucks. Have you seen any Dame this year? Have you watched any Bucks? And can you validate that this comparison, in fact, is true?
I've seen a little Bucks. Look, I've always kind of hoped that Suggs could be a Dwayne Wade, Damian Lillard type of player.
Mm-hmm.
So I've really always hoped he could get to this kind of comparison. And so I'm really geeked that you pulled this one out because this is nice. This is where you want to see it go, right? Yeah, he's attempting less, but he's attempting better ones, ones that come in the flow of his game.
Yeah.
He's changed so much since his rookie year. He's always had that defensive tenacity, right? But the offensive side of the ball is where he's really improved steadily, picking his spots and doing his thing. And then the game slowed down for him. And it's just really great to see that he's developing into that kind of player. And it's been easier for him, I think, because he's not the focal point. In the past, when the Magic have drafted a guy that might need a little seasoning, he's had to be the face of the franchise immediately, and it's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. Meanwhile, this guy has Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, a lot of guys to lean on. He didn't have to be the face. He just kind of got to get better by getting his minutes, earning it, and just being a dog. And it's like, hey, that's always going to be a recipe for success. So it's good to see that it's working.
Yeah, it really feels just applicable to life, right? Everyone thought he was going to be the face, and it was just the moment wasn't right. He wasn't right for the moment, but he didn't get dejected. He just continued to work, like you said, and then he is becoming one of the faces. So it's like, yeah, just do the work behind the scenes as Jalen has been doing, and the time will come. This man is 4th best defensive rating among guards who've played 45 games or more. So basically, if you've been playing this season, he's the 4th best guard defensive rating. He's the 3rd best adjusted defensive plus minus amongst guards who've been playing this year. So he's just top of the heap when it comes to defense. We already knew that. And we're seeing more of the decision making, the decisiveness, less of the turnovers. I couldn't be happier for Jalen Suggs because he's a really good guy. It seems like he's got the good stuff right between his ears. He's thinking this thing through, and it seems like he is going to be a core piece moving forward. Franz and Paolo, that dynamic duo on the wing.
Since we're talking Magic players, I think we should move on to this one. I moved this one over the other one just for the sake of your order.
Okay.
We got to talk about Wendell Carter, right?
Okay,
because he's being talked about by a lot of the Orlando Magic community right now. I've heard a lot of comparisons to him in the toilet paper aisle and the softness of either Angel Soft or Charmin, wherever you're at. But he just ain't the guy that Magic fans, Orlando Tragic has posted here, asking, where's this guy from a couple years ago? There's a video attached where he's jamming it hard. He's also played like this usually against the Chicago Bulls. You see this kind of fire and this vim and this vigor that is different at the game we were at in particular, especially the first game against the Pelicans. You know, a guy like Zion and Jonas Valanciunas are down low, and you can see he seems smaller. He just doesn't play as big. He just kind of feels like, oh, these guys are here, but I'm also here. So like if they miss the rebound, then I'll get it. Like he just seems like a different player. It looks to be a mental thing. It may not be. I don't know.
It could be that plantar fasciitis shit is like flaring up on him. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I just need somebody that's going to get in there and be aggressive sometimes with these big men who are running people over. You know, Isaac came in that game and played very well because he was willing to stand in front of the Bulls. Same with Moritz. And it's like when I need tough, rugged guy play inside, and I know that I've got those two fellas that can come off the bench and give it, or even a Goga that's, you know, big and solid, he's not going to get pushed around, then it starts to make me wonder if as the playoffs come closer, are we always going to turn to Wendell Carter Jr. and say, you're starting today? Because I think some fans are getting a little tired of that. And, you know, we all want Wendell to be successful. I'd like for you to turn it on. Hey, if you know him, show him this. Maybe it'll motivate him. I'm here for that. But right now, there is questions, right? Especially if J.I. is healthy and completely, it's hard to keep him at a starting lineup right now.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
hey,
yeah, the only thing about that, I mean, Jonathan Isaac normally plays. Yeah, I don't know. Is Jonathan Isaac made for the consistent banging of being the center? He kind of already does play that, I guess. When he's in there with Moritz, they kind of switch off who's playing the big man. But you're absolutely right. It's tough to keep him in the starting lineup when Jonathan Isaac is playing so damn well against anyone he's guarding in that backup unit. The thing, I guess,
if I give you the ball,
yeah,
and you got to drive towards the hoop, and I say, hey, you got to go in on the hoop against either Moritz, Jonathan Isaac, or Wendell Carter Jr.
Right.
Everybody's choosing Wendell Carter Jr. And they are. Yeah. But like, I'm just saying, right? Like who's not?
Well, I over Moritz. You think people would prefer to drive it in on Moritz or in on Wendell than Moritz?
I don't really have any interest in
Splitting
losing
that hair.
that physical
Okay.
battle. Personally. But either way, it's up for debate.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be up for debate.
No.
Your lead guy should not be up for debate in that. You should be like, oh, I'm not. No. He's too ferocious. I can't. No.
No, it's a valid point, and as we're gonna see in Dozen with the Second Cousin, there are some folks that narrative was one that they were following throughout the year. The Wendell Carter narrative definitely had higher hopes for Wendell's season coming in this year. You know, coming off of last year, you're thinking, okay, can he ended off like 15-10, right? In the last 20 games, he was cruising, and you're kind of hoping, oh, let's just take that consistency into next year. Can we have him as a 15-10 guy consistently? Man, I've been burned too many times by Wendell Carter Jr. not getting the under of his rebounds. I would think he's freaking Porter out there. What is it, Joey Porter? I think you're gonna talk about that later. But I guess what. If I'm trying to add some temperance, because you're always a preacher of temperance, and you help me with this, Pish. If I'm looking at this a little bit more glass half full, I'm remembering that this man is in the second year of a 4-year contract. Next year is $11 million. The year after is $10 million. That is backup. That's like bench player money in the NBA. So there is a world in which this is the plan for Weltman all along. That, yeah, Wendell, he's going to be our starting center right now, but in the back of my mind, I'm playing 3D chess because I'm Weltman. I've got such a large brain in this huge cranium and forehead of mine. There's another piece coming here. We need a starting center, and that might be coming in the future. We all hoped it could be Wendell, and it's still there for him to step into it, but he hasn't looked decisive. He was one of our best 3-point shooters too. That's kind of tailed off, and he's not bringing a lot in the paint. He's good positionally with his defense. He has a good low base. He's good that way and with footwork, but I like him more on the offensive side as being the person at the foul line who's kind of doing those dribble handoffs. I think he's a little quicker than any of the other centers we have right now, but Moritz and slow-mo Joe, you get that mojo going. That is as pretty as any dribble handoff we have on the team. So I don't know. It's been tough to defend Wendell. I'm struggling to do it right now, if you can't tell.
I can tell, and I'll go ahead and, I know we're all thinking it, especially I was thinking it as you were saying the things that you're saying. We've got a team. We've been talking about it. The growth, right? They're improving. Yeah. They're getting better. We don't see that with Wendell. It doesn't mean that he's gotten particularly a lot worse. It just means that, instead of us expecting him to hit that next level where he's a 20-10 guy every night, he's a little under. And I think that just might be who he is. Yeah. And that's okay if that's who he is. But if we're going to try to hit that next level of NBA Finals competing, then he can't be the starting center.
Yeah, it's valid. Well, someone who, Wendell might be out of the starting job. This guy is already out of a job. Juwan Howard, if you didn't know, was fired as the Michigan head coach. When I saw this news, I was surprised because I remember when he came, they had some good years, but their record this year was horrible. They didn't even make the tournament. I don't think they made the tournament last year. They've had a couple really bad years, it seems. Peesh, what you wanted to put this up, why did you want to talk about this? This is kind of old news.
Because this is now breaking news.
Okay.
Right here on Court Cousins.
Oh.
There is no Michigan player worth drafting this season. So the Orlando Magic are going to add Juwan Howard to the coaching staff because we must add a Michigan piece every year. That is the rule. I'm just telling you. Don't be surprised if this guy ends up on the coaching staff. His son's on the squad, right? We got a father and son. We're gonna have the brothers are there. We got the Court Cousins here.
Okay.
It's a family affair. Bring him in. He's going to get his son moving. He's going to get him motivated. It's going to be good for Jet. And it could be good for Wendell as well.
Good for Jet?
I mean, he's a big inside player. He knows things. Juwan.
Oh, my God. I cannot imagine. Jet would probably be beside himself, dude. It's like he's finally coming into somewhere where he can be his own man and step out, and then Juwan Howard just comes to sun him. They've hearing. Yeah. That's foul. But yeah, maybe, ex-Magic player Juwan Howard Get him back. Get him back in the pinstripes, baby.
Hey, if they're going to bring anybody in from Michigan this year, I will only accept it being him. Anybody else is a reach.
Here on Court Cousins, we love hearing from our extended family, the second cousins, you out there. And we had some time over the second annual family reunion to talk to some of our beloved second cousins and to get their ideas on a couple big topics, really, for this very special edition of Dozen with a Second Cousin. But before we get into their takes, Peach, I think generally the questions we were asking, I did most of them, you did a couple, though, is we kept it open-ended for the first one. What is your favorite narrative or storyline that you've been enjoying following or been frustrated to follow throughout the year? And then the second was on who... Is there a team you would prefer or really not want to play in the playoffs? I haven't heard your take on either of these. Why don't you give me your take on the question of your choice there? I'll give you one, and then we'll hear from the second cousins.
All right. Well, one of the most ludicrous ones I heard was the only one I heard because you did most of these interviews.
Yes.
I did one with Eric, but I think I don't zombie Peach. I lucid Peach. Okay. And when I did that, when I was actually upside down on your phone, so you can verify, I don't really remember much of that conversation. So, but Yachty thought he would like to play the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you heard me say that.
Yeah.
That's really silly. You don't want that. Avoid that at all costs. As long as we don't play the Celtics or Bucks, I think we have a shot at winning that first round series, which would be great.
Sure.
I don't want to see the Knicks, to be honest. They have it. To be honest, I think they're beatable.
Yeah.
I just don't want to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
They seem like the kind of team that will be annoying to me. I know the people in Orlando hate all the New York fans coming down there, taking up playoff tickets. I don't want that for them. So I'm going to say that I don't want to see the Knicks just because of the annoyance factor. Right now, I don't mind Jalen Brunson. I don't want to grow to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I could really get in a good hate vacuum with this Knicks team. So I just don't want to play them. Not interested.
Anybody
else
fair.
is beatable.
I think I'll stick with this one and give my take on it, and then we'll hear from the second cousins. It's either between where we are right now. You figure we're going to be in the 4-5, hopefully 4, so we have the home court advantage. In that kind of mix is Indiana, Cleveland, New York. I don't know how close Miami is, but of all of those. They're only a couple back, so they're in there too. Like, I want to play the Pacers because the Pacers don't play any defense. They haven't been all the way right since Tyrese Halliburton came back from being injured after the All-Star game. I mean, I like playing a team that doesn't play defense because our offense isn't that great. So I feel like we'll be able to get more of what we want against a team that doesn't play defense that well, as opposed to the Knicks, who have one of the better defenses in the league, like you said. Even a team against like the Cavs, who've got some massive big men down low. Jared Allen is a monster. We were talking about, how our concerns for Wendell and how Charmin soft he can be. You think he's going to be handling Jared Allen? I don't think so, man. So I would say it's between Indiana or Cleveland, just because I don't want for Franz, I don't want for all of these guys' first playoff experience to be feeling like it's New York and we're in Madison Square Garden, but we're really at the Kia Soul Center in Orlando because there's so many Knicks fans who have moved down there and take over and make those ticket prices exorbitantly expensive too. I think if we're playing Indiana and Cleveland, those fans aren't going to travel nearly as well. The tickets will stay what they should for people down in Orlando to actually get in the arena. It will feel like an Orlando Magic home game, and I would prefer to play those teams too. So I would say Indiana. Give me Indiana. Yachty, you're fucking crazy. I don't want to see the Bucks. I don't want to see Jimmy Butler's crazy playoff ass. I don't want to see Jalen Brunson torching people for 60 points. No, thank you. No. None of that.
It's that time of the season where Jimmy Butler remembers he's one of the greatest players of all time, and nobody wants to be a part of that. So, and just fuck the Knicks. Stay away from us. Go do something else.
Let's hear what the second cousins had to say about this question and their favorite storyline to follow this year.
there was Swole Anthony. There's Swole Wrath now.
Listen, man, I appreciate it, man. It's glad to have you back.
Good. He's looking good.
And, you know, just like the Magic, man, I've been working on myself, too. I've been working on my game, too. But it's glad to have you back. I'm glad to have you back.
Your due diligence?
Yeah, I'm doing my due diligence. Doing my due diligence. No what I'm supposed to do. But it's glad to have you back in town, man. I mean, this year has been like so many small stories in one already.
Yeah.
You know, what I like about us the most this year is that we've been resilient and we fought back. You know, we didn't let tough losses like impact the rest of our season. Look where we're at now. We're going into the playoffs. We've locked in a play-in seed. We're not satisfied with that, but you know what I mean? It just feels so good to be on our way. And, you know, whatever happens in the playoffs, you know, it's going to be an exciting time in Orlando.
I attribute that to Coach Mosley so much.
It is. It has to be. I mean, everyone is bought in. Dude, they're all winners. I mean, look at Jalen Suggs. I mean, he's earned my respect, man. I've had my doubts over him, but, I mean, the guy, like, understood that he's a defensive dog, and now that he plays that way, he's successful. He's successful. Now he's hitting the three.
Is there a team that you would want to see more or not want to see more?
I mean, there's so many New York fans. There's going to be so many New York fans. I would like to see Cleveland because I think, you know, we'd have
a better
shot. But it's good.
Great.
I think I said it. It's good. We better have more security out there. Those games. You better have some security out those games. It's going to get chippy. It's going to get chippy in there.
He's calling you out, man.
It's going to get chippy in those games. And when they come to Orlando and it's playoff energy, it's going to get chippy in there. In the stands, it's going to get chippy. On the floor, it's going to get chippy. It will get. Well, it's exciting. It's going to be fun.
Well, there's one big one that I think everybody has, which is Jalen Suggs. I'll be honest, I've been notorious Jalen Suggs. Move on. Get him out of here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Look, this
like
is honesty.
Honesty. When
This man is honest.
and then
Wow.
he started shooting the ball, and he gave our team a defensive identity.
He has.
I'm like, he proved me wrong, and I'm like happy to say it. I am happy to say it.
Okay, is he a foundational guy for you? He's like
I think what breaks my heart is he is.
Yeah.
Which means I think we have to push Markel out.
Then talking about narratives, that's been the saddest narrative.
It is. It is.
It's the Markel Fultz narrative. I just want him to be healthy so damn bad.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
Fuck. Nasty, you're rocking the Isaac right now,
I am.
the Minister of Defense.
So he was pretty much like my rookie, and I followed him. And I followed him in when he was in college. He's out from Florida. We got a Florida boy to go to Orlando. I was excited, and then injuries kind of hurt me forever. I think it still kind of hurts a lot.
This is a trauma. You can really see it's coming through.
It's
right
tough
now.
being a Magic fan. It really is.
Is this a sports podcast or a therapeutic?
It's a psychological check-in, so it's a little bit of both.
Erica's a diehard fan. Jay is a wonderful lady. In fact, was the connection really through which the mailman delivered the mail?
Yes.
To us.
Yes, he delivered. He just successfully delivered the package
Yes.
to the court cousin.
In this metaphor, Jay is the package.
Jay's the package, and it landed, and it stuck.
No more talk about Jay's package. We're just going to keep it moving. What has stuck out to you in terms of the story?
I mean, with this team, just seeing the rebuild, especially like seeing the rough parts. It hasn't all been pretty. Being here
we have the stripes.
Yeah, we have the stripes. Being here when it wasn't pretty, to now seeing it and seeing the transformation of like not just the team, but the guys' energy, but also the fans in the Orlando Magic arena is so fulfilling to like actually be here and be like, we're actually supporting our team and not getting out-chanted by visiting teams.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. And then of course just seeing the guys' energy on the court, it's so nice to see them like growing, seeing Paolo on his transformation and journey getting better, and then seeing Franz growing and then getting along with these vets. And
I love that you being here, being at the games, you can feel the connection of the players and the way that they're approaching the game and how that's really making the community love them.
Yep.
And the energy is just reciprocating off of each other now.
I mean, you could see when the arena starts chanting so loud for them, it fuels them up. Like you see them like Jalen Suggs is one that he lives for it, and I love seeing him so riled up with the crowd.
Hey, the piece here with Eric. We've been sitting next to each other during the game. You're here from Long Island right now.
Yep.
Were you just coming here for vacation, or was this just like?
I literally came down here just for this.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about right there. It's good stuff.
Before the season, I really wanted Markelle Fultz. Like, I saw him taking those step into threes.
Yes.
At the end of the season, they look smooth, and I was like, man, if he really works on that over the summer, he could be the guy. I've been a huge fan of him ever since. Even when he was in Philly, and then he finally came to us. I love a good redemption story. But yeah, I don't know. He can't.
It's not happening. Who do you think their most key bench player is?
I'm gonna say either J.I. or Mo Wagner.
Yeah.
Just because I think Mo is just he's the energy.
He is.
He's got great footwork under the basket. He really can get us points when we're kind of struggling.
Agreed.
J.I. is a difference maker in terms of defense.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, you're talking to me, and I love big man shit.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But I think
And special guest.
Let's go.
Let's go. The mailman himself.
That's right.
Delivering every day, this man.
That's right.
Keeping the whole country together. All right? Hector, what has been, as you're on your routes, he's listening to everything Magic related.
Yes, sir.
What has been your favorite storyline to follow throughout the year?
The main thing for me this whole year has been health. Health. If we have a fully healthy team from the beginning, if we have a fully healthy team from the beginning,
Yes.
we will be up there. I would say up there second, easy, or third. I love Jonathan Isaac. He's just a difference maker. To me, he's the X factor of this team. When he comes in, he locks down. He's a lockdown defender, one of the best in the league.
Absolutely.
And now he's shooting threes also. So that's a bonus. That's right.
All right, it's always great to hear from people, and I gotta say, I'm not sure. We haven't talked about this beforehand. We're doing this live, but I feel like everyone that came up to us, right? I'm probably the same for you. They have they have a starter question, right? They want to know, what are your thoughts on ABC or 1 through 3?
Yeah.
The question I think I heard the most, I'm not sure if you heard this one as well, is what do you think of the vibes? What I compare because they know we only go once a year to a couple games. So we're kind of seeing that progression of vibe. And I got to say that it was a lot different this year than when we went. It was our second Court Cousins night, but we went the year before in the first year of this podcast.
Right.
And, sat in the Los Angeles Lakers section for a game. It's just it's a different vibe. There's a lot of people going, they're for it. It sounds dumb, but on the front of all the buses, it says "Go Magic."
Right.
This is a regular season right now. It's not the playoffs. And they're hype. Everyone's hype. It's different. There's no more people making apologies for, the Orlando Magic, they play over there. It's they're like, oh yeah, the Magic, they're over there. It's small, but these are part of that. This is the fertilizer that helps that growth flower build. It's not all just the team and how they win. It's the community, and they're coming around it, and it was fun to see that. But is that the question you feel like you got the most, or what were you asked the most?
That's tough. You're putting me on the spot. Erica talked a lot about the vibes, and she was absolutely right. That Pelicans win was lit with everyone, man. And it felt like a playoff atmosphere in there for that Kings game as it came down to the end. It was horrible. Check out Peach and my recap in the closet. Maybe we'll come out of the closet next time. Who knows for that recap. But that definitely felt like playoff atmosphere basketball. The question that I got most, I think I got most, honestly, was people talking about the playoffs and people kind of trying to, where do you think we should go? Who do you want to play? It was a lot of, what we talked about before this, and then a couple people mentioned in Dozen with a Second Cousin. I think, it's great to see Magic fans firmly focused on playoff basketball. And that's what a lot of people were talking to me about. So
right.
I love it.
Yeah, you're right. That question might have been second most after the vibes question is you guys coming back for the playoffs?
Yeah. People
are you guys up top to your Patreon?
Right.
We come a long ways away.
Multiple people asked me, are you coming back for a playoff game? I'm like, what the fuck? Where do you I'm a teacher, right? Where is this? Are you on the Patreon? Get on the page, everyone, right now. If we get 50 more patrons right now, we will come down for a playoff game. All right.
You tell a friend, they tell two friends, they tell a cousin, and then the next thing you know, we're there for the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, it was great to talk.
I'm not flying Frontier again. I don't care how little. So, I won't do it.
They made you carry your own bag the whole time. Peach just huddled up next to the freaking. Oh, he had a sob. You didn't even have a window where you were sitting, right?
Oh, sitting in the back row against the window that should have been there but wasn't. And then the man sitting next to me got handed a crying baby.
Oh my god!
I felt like I was in a comedy movie or some shit.
Like some.
Like, is this real?
Like reality TV, someone's gonna be like, "You're on, fucking gotcha."
It felt a little like that for a while, especially when this man, by the way, came up. He's holding 5 winter coats. We're leaving DFW Airport, that's Dallas-Fort Worth area, and going to Orlando, Florida. And this man has 5 coats with him. Like, one was his, one was his wife, and the other 3 were his kids. And he's holding them all. And I'm like, what was your plan? Why are you bringing these coats? Where do you think you're going? Like, I just...
Who knows?
I don't
know. All right. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to talk with us. Again, shout out to all the Patreons. You're the real ones. If we had more people like you, Peach and I would be in Orlando for a playoff game. So let's make it happen, people. Hop on there.
Or maybe I'd have an internet Ethernet cord so my mouth would match up with my
Yeah,
sound.
we got to get Peach some gig speed internet and an Ethernet cord or something. Yeah. All right. It's that time, Peach, for the large ending. Sir, can you hit that button? Where is it located today?
Oh, a special gift from Lewis when we were down there. Thanks a lot. Hooking us up with this wooden button. It's right there. Boop. Oh, you got one too.
Yeah.
We've got one. Thanks, Lewis.
We have got
large ending time.
Yep. Here you go. You first, Peach.
Friend, here it is. It's from Dallas, Texas TV. I've been following a lot of places around here trying to find out what's going on. Found this baby. Kyle, Texas, which is just a little south of Austin, is attempting to break the world record for the largest gathering of people named Kyle. Can we count you in?
Again, teacher salary, everyone. Like, I'd love to be there. Are they also, like, compensating? Are they giving stipends to Kyles around the world? How is this working? Are all the Kyles flush with cash? Am I the only one? What the hell?
Into it. I will look into it. I bet Kyle is I bet there's a lot of Kyles with a lot of dollars. Maybe we'd be able to get you up with the sponsors.
Okay.
We'll send them a picture of you as the Kyle Adiscope, and they'll at least put you on the video screen.
Yeah, I can get involved, maybe remotely. So you recently were on the ice. Well, you were on the ice for the performance, but you made the ice for the performance of Frozen, right? Can you give me a starter, backup, and bench from your position? Who are your main roles that did the best, would you say? Starter, backup.
Are you talking about Disney on Ice?
Frozen, yeah, you did the Disney on Ice, Frozen.
Okay. I did, yeah. Well, Frozen was part of it, but it's all of the different characters. Yeah, it's not Frozen. There was like a small segment where Olaf comes out and he's like, I'm a dopey woman, or whatever. I don't really know that one. But yeah, then they're all there. Cars are there. Mickey was there doing his ha-ha bit and all that shit. Yeah, it was good. They had like a little segment. And Encanto is a big part of it, honestly, which I had not seen, but was very lovely and well done. Yeah, I did that over in Fort Worth this past weekend, and actually they're now at our rink this weekend. I was just working on their ice before I came home today, so they're back in the house. I'll see if I can get some more screen time with them. I did get a nice selfie with Lightning McQueen.
Yes.
I don't normally bother celebs for a selfie, but we were kind of working together. We're both driving on the ice together. We just we got a brothership now, so. Mater was a little standoffish, but still, just didn't want to chat. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, these are celebs, dude. These are big time people.
Hey, you mentioned him briefly earlier. His name's Jonte Porter.
Yeah.
I know you're a bettor. You love bets. You love small bets. You heard about the fuss going on with him and betting the unders. Nobody's heard of this guy. He barely gets minutes. He's a two-way player.
Yeah.
But there's some scandals going on with people betting his unders. And when you watch the videos, it's shifty. You betting on these unders or what?
I would have, surely. I mean, It's just
Bet the overs now. He's got something to
so
prove.
dumb, dude. It's so dumb and so obvious. It's that, you'd walk into this and then the sports books are saying, hey, the biggest prop bet that we had was Jonte Porter's under threes. Of course that's going to send up a freaking red flag. Who the hell is betting on Jonte Porter? I have the answer. Nobody. And the fact that he bet
not even his own brother, Michael Porter Jr.
I know. Well, that's why it's even a bigger story, but it just sucks that even worse, he bet his unders. He bet on himself to be a dog, like to not fucking get anything. And just a fake
Pete
injuries.
Rose at least bet on himself.
Right.
I won't let the man in the Hall of Fame. Let's go.
I'm for Pete Rose, dude. He
against
bet on
himself.
himself. Like, let's go, Pete Rose. That gives me extra cojones. There should be a part in the Hall of Fame for him. Like, yo, this dude put his money where his mouth is. Jonte Porter, he's not only gonna never play in the NBA again, but he is going to constantly be the the hit of a joke from all NBA, all basketball players, all basketball people. He's going to be the bad punchline. So that's going to be weird.
That's for sure.
It's going to be weird. All right, Peach. You just mentioned that you were in Fort Worth for, doing the Disney on Ice thing. Fort Worth, worth it?
So far from what I've seen, I would say very much worth it. I didn't get to see a lot of the town because I was in the arena most of the time. But let me go ahead and take this little segment that you're giving me.
Yeah.
Dickies Arena in Fort Worth is the finest arena I've ever been in. I've been in a lot of arenas. It's a big part of who I am, going and checking them out. It is awesome if you're attending an event. The parking is amazing. The building is beautiful on the outside. The aesthetic is fantastic. All the seats are new. Look, it's under 5 years old, so of course a new building is going to look good. But they thought about things where they space out the concessions everywhere where the people come in the building. There's room. They thought of everything. And if you're an operations guy like me, they got 24 loading docks, my guy, and they're not in the way of the parking because they built it underneath. I'm telling you, I'm not going to geek out on the operations side of it. But this place has so much room. You could host events in the space where stuff is stored. That's how nice it is. I recommend it highly. Dickies Arena. Go see something there. It's set up normally for rodeo, so that's why it has so much space. I got to get over there and see it. It was impressive.
I would love to see some rodeo with you next time I'm down there.
I've heard, if you've ever been to Minneapolis and St. Paul, they've got like a Twin City vibe, right? Minneapolis feels like the bigger city, more is going on. St. Paul, a little more laid back. I found that vibe with Dallas and Fort Worth. Fort Worth seems a little more laid back, a little cheaper, more blue collar people over there. Dallas has more of the city, the hype, and a little more dollars.
Sounds like you might
Both
be
were checking out?
Sounds like you might be a Fort Worth guy.
I probably should be, but I don't want to make that travel every day. It's about 15 minutes away if there's no traffic.
Not in that Jeep that I saddled you with. All right, let's keep it moving.
All right, here it is. It's the big secret of the show.
Okay.
Did you know that I have done this entire show without pants?
Like at all? You just
no pants.
No pants. Are you free balling it?
I put on some underwear.
Okay.
I wanted to free ball it, but that's what made me think of the chair that you're sitting in. Because I cannot free ball it because I do not have that mesh.
Right.
So I had to put a little something between me and the seat here. But it gets hot. I'm telling you, it was hot. It was 79 degrees when I got out of work. I came home, my air conditioning's on. It's happening. Yeah, South. Woo! Let's go. Love it.
We talked about the NCAA tourney earlier, Peach. I bet on your Tar Heels, and they let me down. It was a really nice parlay. Would have won me some money, but they did not come out with the victory. Now that your Tar Heels are out, and you're not going to be adding another little area to your whatever you call it behind you, who you rooting for? There's only one right answer. There's only one right answer.
I know. Yeah, I know you want me to say that. And I think they're right because it's the only team that I predicted to make the Final Four that's left. I can't root for Alabama because it's a football school. And, NC State is an ACC rival, so no, I can't pick them.
Very valid.
And Purdue, Purdue. Always.
Yeah.
Always Purdue. And I don't like Zach Edey. I don't like the cut of his jib. He's got a bad jib cut. People were talking about, where would you draft him? Where would you draft him? Don't draft that guy. He's peaking now. Enjoy Zach Edey while you got him. They might win, but, this is it. This is it.
They ain't going to win, though. They ain't going to win because they're coming up against the Huskies, baby. Let's go UConn.
UConn's looking nice.
Let's go UConn. Back-to-back champs. Hasn't been done in a while. We can do it. This team's been together for a minute. All right, Peach, man. I'm glad we got on here, did the show. Sorry for the delay, everyone, but life circumstances and everything coming back from the amazing Court Cousins night. It's good to talk to you, Peach. I miss you, man.
Good to talk to you. Love you. It's been a good show. It's good to look back on the trip there. I'm sure I will rewatch this one for years just to kind of drink in that good time. And look, hey, we're going to do it again next year. If you missed it this year, go ahead and try to be a part of it next year, because every year we sort of seem to find a way to somehow up the game a little bit. And, what do we do next? Pay us a strip. Let's do it. Thanks for coming.